Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. It's Heat G, and we get, an effective Rambot. It's no Storm 2 or Tornado, but for the first proper one, it's pretty good. And I'm joined by once again Anderson.
Hello guys, I am still here.
He's still here. I'm not paying him still, but you're doing it because you're a mate. That's right.
Yes. Yeah, plus I was promised that I was given an IOU.
Yeah, that's gonna bounce. Don't worry.
Oh, jolly good.
Oh, well.
Good. I can sue you then for lots of money. Anyway.
All £5 of it. Yes.
Yeah. All £2.50 of it. Yeah.
even with damages, it'll inflate to about what, £20, something like that. But anyway, we'll get on to the heat, and I mentioned the Rambot, and thankfully, the best robot won the heat. That's sometimes
Henry. You should have won the heat. You know that.
Ah, of course. Henry is the best robot. We'll get to Henry later, but for now we got Stegosaurus. This is a very, very good debut from a robot. My God.
It's a little green tank, isn't it? I mean, I know it's meant to be a dinosaur, but this machine is awesome. For a first attempt as well, it's fantastic.
It's also very rare we see a two-wheeled Rambot.
Yes.
Because this, I mean, obviously Tornado is four-wheeled and Storm 2 is six-wheeled drive, but this thing is mostly relies on its two wheels, and it's amazing how much power. I mean, this robot was very appreciated before it appeared. Like, I mean, it was a reserve. This thing was a reserve.
Reserve robot.
They took over another robot called T-Rex, another dinosaur named robot, oddly enough. They appeared later in Series 7 with a completely different looking robot, but they replaced them. They were reserved. They didn't even get an intro. They didn't even get a pit intro. A bit like Triterabot didn't either, but honestly, why is it all the dinosaur robots? Just Binky's the exception.
And even Max Damage, come on, Max Damage got a friggin' intro for God's sake, or a pit intro anyway.
Yeah, I mean, hell, something like Hammertron got a pit intro, so.
Oh God.
I know, but the thing is though, this robot, it's quite underestimated. It didn't really, it just no real weapons in it. It had a lifting tail, but I hardly called that a weapon. It barely lifted above the robot, and it just looked really feeble, and they never really used it in the end. And then it's against a veteran. Apparently supposed to be one of the favourites of the heat. Apparently just because they've been in the war, therefore that makes them a veteran and brilliant. And then
it had an awesome paint job.
It did, and then it just completely annihilated every robot it was against. It didn't have any real problems in this heat either, and it's just so powerful. I mean, from that very first hit, you realised, Jesus, this is actually what Rambots are capable of, and.
I mean, compared to like nowadays when pushing and stuff, I mean, this is probably pretty tame. This is you'll just think, oh, that's not a rammer. But at the time, this was never before seen stuff. This was record-breaking speed and power. There was nothing that can compare to this sort of pushing power at all. And just for the fact that these three guys from Southampton, which is where I currently live, who literally come out from nowhere, weren't even in the main competition originally, were lucky enough to get a reserve, came out and actually threw this out. I mean, it just makes you think, what would have actually happened? Do you think Pushers would have come across as quick as they did? I mean, do you think Tornado would have turned around and been like, oh, mate, we're because I'm pretty certain this was an influence of some really good pushers.
It did. I mean, also, we get to the stage where we get to Storm 2. Actually, say what about Storm 2? I don't love Storm 2, I really respect it. But the moment I loved Storm 2 was when they knocked Steel Avenger out of the arena by hitting them against the wall. That takes power. And to think this was the first robot to show off this power, I mean, obviously, yeah, it is, as you said, it is tame by comparison, but even so, it's still very powerful. I mean, the hits it dealt robots, I mean, by the end of it, Napalm was crumpling by how much this robot was hitting it. I'm not saying it takes much to beat Napalm anyway, but it's the fact that a robot, I mean, obviously, no one's really damaged a robot Napalm like that before, and really managed to make it almost bend in on itself. And it's amazing. And it's kind of funny because this robot looks very, very cheap looking. I mean, just looking at it, it's not that impressive looking. I mean, the face in it's kind of stupid. The paint job's just green with Stegosaurus inside of it, and the spikes are just there. And honestly, if you told me this is the fourth place robot for Series 3, I would not have believed you. looking at it.
Just by looking at the picture, yeah, you would never have guessed it. And then you see its first battle, and you're like, oh my god, I can totally see it, man.
And of course, we can't mention Stegosaurus without mentioning Steg 2 and 3 Stegs to Heaven. Steg 2 is a great upgrade. I mean,
I don't think it was that good of an upgrade myself.
I mean, at least the flipper was very powerful on it.
Yeah, the flipper was very powerful, but I mean, when I watched its heat again, it was very lucky to get through its first battle.
Oh, it was.
It owned Iron Ore, but let's be honest, who wouldn't? It did pretty well against Mortis, and then I admit, yeah, okay, it was against, Chaos too, but I don't think it would have really done that much better against anybody else in that heat either. I think all of the others robots in that semi-final could have probably beaten them.
We can agree that 3 Stegs to Heaven is rubbish, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, thank you. I mean,
apart from when it sliced up a lemon, that was funny.
Yeah, I was it wasn't that many. Any kind of saw could have probably ripped up. I mean, the amount of electronics that robot had sticking out of it was going to hit something.
Yes.
But actually, one thing I have to kind of address about Stegosaurus, which I kind of think, particularly in this series, it seems to suffer from, that Tornado and such never really suffered from, is that it seemed to have massively bad steering problems. I mean, this robot.
Yes.
I mean, when this robot was fully going forwards, all its best hits were going forwards. But as soon as it had to turn round, it was almost like it was slipping, or the robot's armor was catching it, or something. It never turned smoothly. It always looked like it was lucky it turned round half the time. And Steg 2 had the same problem as well, which I think, in a way, they never really improved on that part of it. But then, oddly enough, 3 Stegs to Heaven is probably the robot that drove the best. Oddly enough. And that's sad. That was a robot that actually worked. It worked the best in terms of driving, but yeah, it was. And also, why do it always start sideways? I never understood that.
They're hard.
And I know, but
because they were so good that they knew that they wanted to give the other robots another chance. That's what it was.
It sure wasn't just a bad stylistic choice. The fact that they keep bumping into the wall every time to start up.
Oh, of course it bloody was.
Of course, but
they went in the Maze 2 book of logic.
No, and that is a terrible bit of logic to go in.
Yeah.
But I say that is Stegosaurus. Also, it's not Stegosaurus as the title cards like to believe. It's Stegosaurus. The amount of robots got their names misspelt in the series is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I think they were dyslexic. There's no offense to people who are dyslexic, by the way. Sorry. God, don't hate me.
Oh, it doesn't take much. Don't worry.
Yeah, the internet. Shut up. The internet is a very bitter place these days. So you don't want to say anything that might upset people.
I couldn't give a shit about that, but
oh, jolly good.
I don't care. Anyway, we'll move to the runner. We'll move to the runner-up, and it's kind of sad to have to say this is the most experienced robot of this heat. It's Napalm, who didn't even change the robot from Series 2. Oh,
yeah,
I mentioned this last. I mentioned this last. I mean, we talked about Napalm before. I mean, I think you were there. You were there for Heat A as well.
Yes, so there's nothing I can really say apart from this, and that is that, in all fairness, it's not a great robot, but considering the fact that it was a completely unchanged from the last series, and it was still able to make a heat final here, and was still able to still be fully mobile into that match against Stegosaurus in the heat final, they deserve credit for reliability.
I agree. The robot it managed to last barely to the very end against Stegosaurus.
Yes. I'll admit it's barely, and it is a pile of bollocks. But in all fairness, it was at least reliable, which is a lot more than can be said for other robots in this heat. Haardvark.
It's true. It's true. And although I'll have to point out, this is obviously according to the wiki, and the wiki is obviously God and never wrong. But I just want to.
Yes, of course it's never wrong. I'm part of it.
Exactly. And all right, now Stegosaurus costs $1,500. This costs $5,000. Right, actually, there's a robot. Actually, the next robot we're getting onto after this has a very weird price as well for me. But so we'll get to that. But again, there's not much I can really say about Napalm that I haven't said in Series 2 because it literally is the same robot. So I can't even go, oh, they improved on it this time. No, they haven't. They stuck the eyes back on with some sellotape after Mortis knocked them off. The mandibles is just as crap. They probably wouldn't hurt me, honestly. They're so rubbish, the mandibles. I mean, they look nice, but they do absolutely nothing.
they make Sergeant Meekel's axe look like it moves at shunt speed.
Actually, in fairness, though, the
dropped out.
The mandibles actually moved okay in Series 2, but Series 3, they just didn't work half the time. And this thing relied on it. I mean, to his credit, I actually don't mind the design of Napalm overall. Like, at least you remember it. It's not like
Yeah.
a box. It's like a car. It's got its own weird stylistic look to it, but if you've got the same scratch marks from Series 3, from Series 2, and it's just like, put some different armor on it. I mean, obviously they tried again in Series 4, and that was utter crap. And and Napalm 2 is worse than this one. It barely works half the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it beat Gemini
It's
out
funny
of pure luck.
Yeah, there's two Napalm 2s. There's this Napalm which they used at the first part of Extreme One filming, which was literally this Napalm but painted black.
Yeah.
And then they made like a smaller compact version and called it Napalm 2,
Well,
which is even worse.
wasn't this version the painted black one? Wasn't that one that got flipped out the arena by Thermidor 2?
Yes, and it's also the one that likes to kill a lot and Suicidal Tendencies and Seal Avenger to tag team Terror.
Oh my god, they actually were in the tag team tour, weren't they? Oh god.
Yes.
I got roped into be that. Oh, of course, a Chrome a lot. Oh, they could at least pick like Plunderbird guys, but nah, let's pick Napalm.
Yes.
They're our ticket to win. But yeah, that's really all about Napalm. There's nothing else we haven't already covered. It's pretty crap, but reliable crap, so that's something. I'll give it that. And the other robot I was going to mention, because again, the robot that got lucky in its first round battle, but is still not that great, is the Barnyard the second Barnyard robot. We have the Stegosaurus, and now we have the pig for RoboPick. This thing costs This thing cost £1,250, by the way.
How?
I'm just looking at that image right now. I don't understand how this robot costs so much. It looks like it's made out of.
What I love, right, is that this is a four-wheel drive robot and it could barely push something across the arena floor, yet a two-wheel drive robot can slam something into the sidewall with no problem whatsoever.
4 miles an hour top speed from this robot.
What the bloody... That's not making good use of your skid steer system. I'm sorry, that's just pants.
Also, this thing doesn't have a centimetre ground clearance. I mean, the amount of robots that claim they have a centimetre ground clearance, I could see the gap on the picture. I'm sorry, if I can see the gap...
Right? I could lay on my back and I could literally shimmy under that thing, and I'm a fat man, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so there we go.
You don't realize the amount of mechanics that wouldn't need the lifter in they just go underneath it and they'll be able to get underneath it. But
I'm not gonna lie, right? This and the weaponry is just pants. I mean, what is this? It's like a what is it? A tongue sort of thing? It's like a spike that like shoots out and then whips up as like a flipper.
That's what it's supposed to do, but it looks so pathetic and feeble. It's not going to do anything.
Why don't we just have a spike or a disc? It's a perfect slot for a disc to stick out of.
Or an axe. Just put an axe all the way through it, like T2 did later on.
Yeah, make a completely different altogether. You know, there's a million and one choices here.
The weird thing about it is, like, you think you could at least make it look quite creative, but it's not even that. I mean, actually, if you think about it, all the stuff on it is just attached on it. Like, the ears are attached on, the tail's attached on, and the eyes are attached on, and it's got like a drawn smile on it, but it's not that interesting looking for a robot based off of Pig, which I'm kind of... I mean, I'm not saying it was a great robot, but...
The Hassoc's Hog, that's a good pig-based robot.
And also, there was also Warhog, but...
Warhog...
I mean, at least it had the potential to do something, it just never ever worked because it was so unreliable and crap. I mean, at least in Series 4, it did spin pretty fast. But... Yeah... RoboPick's just really bland. I mean, it's the fact this robot is four-wheel drive and can't really manage more than 4 miles an hour, it can barely push a Napalm. It's kind of sad in many ways. This robot is, you think it would be at least memorable, but it's just not even that great. It's just RoboPick.
Yeah, it's so unmemorable that when Sir Killot set himself on fire, they said RoboPick did it.
Yeah.
Just to give it its own moment. I don't know. Just get out.
No, it was just so Jonathan Pierce can make loads of like pork jokes and stuff like that, and bacon and all these.
Basically, yeah.
That was the whole reason. I bet that was the whole reason he entered, so JP could do some jokes about him.
Yes.
And my God, the second round robots are so crap in this because Henry is the other one. These two robots made it past the first round, folks, and Henry.
I forgot Henry was a thing.
Many people forget Henry.
We have to talk about Henry.
We have to, because I mean, hence I said the word name Henry. We're talking about it, and right. The thing about Henry is, it's probably a very. If you just looked at it, it's a pretty bland-looking robot. Honestly, it's very unmemorable. I mean, the second. I mean, I don't understand the paint job, and it's just kind of like lines all over the place. Like there's no real consistency on it. It has so much ground clearance. This robot, and then of course to top it all off, the spike. The bloody spike on the front of Henry constantly just sticks into the ground, and it just ends up looking like it's immobile half the time.
Also, that spike is the thinnest thing in the world. It's literally a thin triangle put on the front of the robot. So, see, the problem with a good spike, right, is thin but still sturdy. So it shoots in, or you can stab robots. Like look at the Chromalite spike, for example, in series in Heat D. Okay, that thing drove forward and it managed to puncture robots because it was sturdy and it had a decent shape to it that like slowly but surely got wider. A thin triangular piece of metal is not either of those things because it bends easily, and because it's such a steep wedge on the triangle, it won't puncture anything easily.
I mean, look at Tornado in Series 4.
Yes.
That thing was pretty well. The spikes are really well positioned on that robot. But actually, the thing is though, that this robot is so pathetic. It can't even pull itself out of the arena once it got stuck in. Like it didn't even like go that hard into the arena. It just kind of went in. And in its battle against Stegosaurus, it stopped moving right at the beginning of the battle and then just randomly sparked into life out of nowhere. And yeah, this is the textbook lucky robot of Series 3. It really came past the first round. It really is.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Because they were doing. All their battles in this series were just kind of running around, getting stuck into the arena, and also getting stuck in the arena as well against Stegosaurus, and that somehow killed them.
Yes.
And I mean, the second version, Henry 2. Granted, they actually it was an improvement. They actually
they tried. It looked good, didn't it? But we didn't see
it because Dominator 2 killed it in 3 seconds. And to this day, it's the quickest KO of all time, and I don't think anyone can beat that. To be honest, was it 2?
It was 2 seconds.
Oh, was it 2 seconds? Well,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I shaved a second off accidentally, but
yeah.
Either way, though.
Either way.
Oh yeah. Oh, 3 seconds. Yeah, right. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. But it's still one of the most. It was also from that moment on that made me realise why I love Dominator 2. Because it just took, in its very first appearance, it took out a robot in 2 seconds. Come on.
I can't wait to get to Series 4.
I can't wait as well, but Henry is just Henry. And somehow one of the heaviest robots in this heat. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's actually, hold on. It's heavier than Haardvark, but because Napalm's the heaviest at 82.6. This thing is 80.9. So yeah, I don't know why it's so heavy. It's like Shogun. I don't know where all the weight went, but
probably put a brick inside it.
Anyway, yeah, we'll go to the reason why this robot managed to get through in the first place. Because Haardvark, you fucked up. You had one job. You had one job to get past the first round, and you couldn't even do that because Henry looked its way through. I don't know what Henry did to you. Did it just like psych you out or something, and you decided not to move at the last moment? But man,
this was very, very, very disappointing. I'm going to say this right now. Okay, a lot of people say that seeds would be boring these days, or seeds were boring, and a lot of, I mean, when it came to like the new series being announced and they announced that there was no seeds, a lot of people, had a backlash against it, myself included. A lot of people defended it. But here's my argument. Haardvark would have been seeded in Series 3 if there were seedings in this series. Isn't that true? Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But because they weren't seeded, them losing in the first round was just classed as another loss.
Yeah.
Oh, well, another robot's lost. Oh, well, what do you do? Let's continue. If they had been seeded, I mean, they would have been seeded quite high. I'd say at least 8th or 9th. I mean, they would have been like, oh my god, the number 9 seeds are out in the first round. What a massive surprise. It would have created tension, it would have created drama, and it would have made good television. But because it's just some other robot that lost, because, there was no seeds in the series, nobody cared.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. But this is proof of it. I mean, this was a massive disappointment. They actually improved their old robot, which wasn't really the most impressive robot, but still proved good enough to get to the semis. This was a better robot, and it's fucking lost in the first round.
I mean, it's actually one of those reasons why they confirmed they had to have a certain 10-second rule or whatever second rule for the count for mobilization, because as far as we're aware, this robot died in the last 6 seconds. But of course, because it was just considered out, and there was no official counter when it was out. It just died.
Yeah, other robots died for longer time, but they still got to go through.
I mean, the seeding thing aside, though, Haardvark 2, it's one of those robots where, again, I think I mentioned it before, but I think it's both an upgrade and a downgrade, because they actually have a weapon on it. It sucks, but they got a weapon on it. it looks nicer. It looks more professional than the. I mean, actually, to its credit, I actually think Haardvark was the best looking robot in its heat anyway. Not saying much, but I still think it was a decent looking robot. I mean, the forks were just pointed upwards for some reason, like panic attack. No reason why. And again, the forks are still pretty useless as well here, but it's something. And they kept all the stickers on it. Yeah, I appreciate the stickers. But then they made it so slow. I mean, the last Haardvark was about 12 miles an hour, smart. And this thing's like 6. It's like half the speed, and it's like because you can see it. Because I mean, maybe because Henry was so fast, I don't know, but it always felt like it was trying to catch up to Henry constantly. It never felt like it was in control. It just at one time there's only one point where it pushed Henry against the side wall and started using its saw to no avail. But apart from that, Henry was just fucking itself up, and they were just kind of trying to catch up to them, and then they just died randomly after one hit against Henry, and it's just like. They would have lost to Stegosaurus easily. Because this robot's so slow that Stegosaurus would be able to just push it around and not do anything to it. Like it did Napalm, because Napalm's not that fast either. So, they probably would have just lost anyway, but it's the fact that they weren't really considered as high up because the seeding wasn't a thing in Series 3. But, I would slightly argue that the seeding... I mean, this is a different debate entirely, but briefly, I don't think the seeding thing... Getting rid of the seeding in the newer series is actually a good thing for me. But that was just me. But anyway, it doesn't really diminish the fact that Haardvark lost pretty unluckily here.
Yes.
And they never appeared again because they couldn't qualify again. They tried for Series 4 and I believe also 5, I think. Haardvark.
Yes.
Haardvark
for Series 5.
But no. Let's Fat Boy Tin in. Yes.
Yes.
Oh Jesus! I mean, this is
Scorpion. That'll go far.
This is the series that gave Stinger a seed 30, but didn't give Invertebrat a seed. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Logic, there is none. And also they allowed...
Series 4 has its faults, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, there are some terrible seeding choices in the late 20s and early 30s, but...
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's seeding Hypnos number 2. What idiot made that fucking choice?
Yeah, I don't know. They just didn't know what they were talking about sometimes, but it was not as bad as Ming Dynasty getting a seed.
Oh, bloody hell.
I know, I mean, true, they're in like loads of wars, but no excuse. Smitsy's been in that many wars, and they only got a seeding like Series 6, I think, 7. But,
they got seeded in Series 5 and 7.
Yeah, I know they deserved it, but Ming Dynasty didn't. I'm sorry, Ming did do anything most of the time. But we'll get off the topic of Haardvark and probably talk about, honestly, probably one of the most boring robots of this heat, Caterkiller. It's just a very slow track bot. I mean, everything in this thing robot.
Very uninteresting weapon.
I mean, granted, they come up way better with Cat 3 later on. Also, Caterkiller again in Series 4, but then Cat 3... Actually, Caterkiller is basically just this robot reversed. I mean, it's a wedge, but with the tracks, and they just put a lifting arm on it that it died against Gemini and Tornado, so that was it. And then Cat 3 is actually... I mean, granted, Cat 3 is sort of, well, mostly inspired by Dominator 2, let's face it, but at the same time, it's still a great robot. It just never really managed to do very well again. It never managed to get past the heats, unfortunately, which is... It's one of those robots I think was decent, but this version, not the best start. Caterkiller, to be honest. I mean, Napalm versus Caterkiller is still the most boring battle of the series, but... I mean, is there anything else we need to add about Caterkiller, or is it just there?
No, I mean... Oh... Bloody hell! And this is another one. The only thing I can say about it is it's one of those ones where, again, if back in the day you had pointed at me and pointed at this robot and said, this team will still be making robots and entering them in every series from now on until Series 7, I would have laughed in your face. Yeah. And it was true. I had
the same thought. I had the same thought when looking at Groundhog, to be honest. Yeah. What? Yeah. Multi semi-finalist. Fuck that. Nah, yeah. and also another robot that has greater things coming up in its later series, but nowhere in this series. Bulldog Breed.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, again,
the original Bulldog Breed.
I love every version of Bulldog Breed after this series, but this Bulldog Breed, my God! I mean, they managed to they made 2 heat finals. A Series 5 that got to the second round, and then I believe... No.
Gosh, James, you're so unprofessional.
I'm sorry, Series 5 to 7 are a blur to me. So
Series 4 they made heat final. Series 5 they made heat final. Series 6 they lost in the second round to Hypnos, and then Series 7 they made it to the semi-final second round.
I was gonna get. I did say 2 heat finals, never. And then I mixed up 5 and 6. I'm sorry because they lost to Hit in the Disc both times. I'm sorry. And then in Series 7, they finally managed to get to a semi-final, which is. It was like Atomic. It was one of those robots that was just waiting to get to the semi-finals, and as soon as all the big boys started not appearing anymore or getting worse, then we're like, hell yeah, let's take it on now. But Series 3 Bulldog Breed, it's just what is it? It's just got saw blades on it. It looks like honestly, it looks like something I'd make in Robot Arena 2. Just this box with some saws in the front of it, and then just do well. I mean, this robot clearly suffered from interference problems because it was barely working in its battle.
Yeah.
It moved, it twitched at worst.
It made Shunt Axe look beautiful though.
Oh, it got. I mean, some of the best Shunt Axe hits in general from this series came from this battle. I mean, he went straight through the armor, like it was nothing.
I love an axe for armor. I mean, it's like when Shunt hit Beast of Bodmin in the semi-finals. Oh my goodness me, beautiful.
I mean, at least they kept the bulldog face for all the other series. I mean, it's like their signature in a way.
Continuity.
It's their signature. Actually, I did like the Series 4 version. It was called holding some kind of like metal bar and crushing it. But
yeah, it was like lifting up weights, I think.
Yeah, lifting
weights.
Oh, yeah, it looks like to me it always looked like it was trying to crush the bar, like kind of bend it.
Oh yeah, I thought it was too, and then I only noticed this about a year ago. I was watching and I just realised, hey, that thing's lifting weights. It took me that long to realise it.
One of those dumb things you never notice. It's like when I didn't notice that Limpet had a saw on it. It's just one of those things you just don't notice until ages later, and you're like, oh god, it's even worse than I thought it was. But that was okay. But yeah, Series 3 Bulldog Breed didn't really. I mean, in fairness, they had problems, but I don't think even with those problems they would have done very well. Granted, they could have beaten Napalm probably, but yeah, that was Bulldog Breed. And finally, we have the quote-unquote other really, really, really big veteran of this series, Orac's Revenge. It looks nice.
It looks beautiful.
But it's just kind of there. I mean,
I'm just going to say this now. Suicidal Tendencies Toothpick Axe was more powerful than this thing.
Yeah, it was on par with something like Ultor's Axe, like electric axe that just goes... It fires fast, granted, but it does no damage.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, again, it looks nice. I mean, it looks nothing like the original Orac. I mean, you wouldn't... I mean, honestly, if I hadn't told you its name, you might not have guessed it was the same guys. But...
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, talk about, like, actual improvements. I mean, this has got to be one of the biggest leaps ever. The last one looked like a soapbox race cart with a hedge trimmer stuck on the back of it. But this thing actually looked professional. It looked well built together. Had a proper chassis, no exposed parts. Even the paint job was professionally done. It looked like it was a vast improvement. And to be honest, I think could have performed better even in a different battle or at least in a different heat. You know, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this was a potential heat finalist.
It just got out pushed, didn't it? Really, unfortunately.
Yeah. If this was in Heat P,
oh god, yeah,
we would have seen it in the Heat final easily. This would have been a Heat finalist. I'm sorry, there's no doubt in my mind.
And again, this is another unfortunate case. They didn't manage to qualify for 4 or 5 either. Seriously, this robot couldn't make it in, but you let Banshee in.
Series 3 is considered the rejection series, where literally, I mean, there's a lot of robots in Series 3 which only appeared in Series 3.
Actually, a lot of people think, oh, they didn't return again, but things like Terrapin, even Ratus appeared twice again but couldn't make it in. But yeah, of course, but then you get some weird surprises, like you get the Sting 2, they come back with S3. Or even, and maybe a less successful version, which still surprises me, you get Purple Predator going to Granny's Revenge. Like, just weird, like, how did that come about?
Yeah,
just these weird things that just you never think, oh, that'll never happen again. And then obviously the little mini version of A-Kill to the weird crushing a grape strawberry A-Kill in Series 6.
But... You see, Heat D Grim Reaper, losing its wheel, only to come back in Series 7 and be a green bigger brother and make it to the semi-finals.
But unfortunately, some robots are apparently created more equal than others in the case of the producers, and yeah, unfortunately, this robot was never appeared again, as did many robots in Series 3. They didn't manage to come back again. And this is probably the one I would probably wanted to choose out of all those ones, probably. But it's a shame, really. It's just a shame. I think them and Haardvark could have had another go in Series 4 or 5, but alas, they didn't. And yes, that's all the robots. And again, can you really call the first battle? Can you call Bulldog Breed versus Robo Pig a battle?
On the basis that Bulldog Breed technically moved forward at one point, yes, you can. But
Technically,
it is literally on the verge of. I mean, it is literally just like Bugs versus Demolisher. No, not Bugs. Sorry, Bugs versus Cunning Plan, where it is legitimately the bare basic. They both move forward. They touch each other. There you go. Happy fucking days.
it's true. And I mean, Robo Pig looked out massively.
Yes.
That Bulldog Breed wasn't working.
Thank you, though, Shunt, for at least making it slightly more entertaining.
That's true. I mean, I guess that's all we have to say about that battle, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right, next battle.
Next, okay, next battle. Oh, you want another battle, Anderson? You really want another battle? How about Caterkiller versus Napalm?
And that's where I kill myself. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
This was bloody awful.
I mean, the only highlight was when Napalm almost pushed Caterkiller into the pit. Somehow didn't. I don't know how it managed to go away from that. Like, seriously, I mean, you know, there are cases where robots turn away from the pit at the last moment and it's quite tense, but here... Like,
Literally a competition where they tried to stay in the middle of the arena.
Yeah, it was like a sumo match. It really was. Like, it was like a sumo match. They just kept pushing against each other for ages, and Napalm finally managed to push them a little bit. And then they almost went in the pit, and then somehow... I don't know how Caterkiller got away from that really slow push. But they somehow managed to last the judges' decisions, and... I mean, I'd hate to be the judges having to watch that and just going, oh god, we got to pick a winner out of this.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing they actually recorded it, because you probably find the judges fell asleep while watching it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this now. I do agree with the decision, just simply because Napalm nearly got Caterkiller in the pit and Caterkiller did fuck all.
I'm not disagreeing with this decision. I just think, even the evidence why Napalm won is so boring. Yes. Because they did slightly more than their opponent. That was the only reason they won.
The thing that worries me is that they these are edited down. So these are what they considered the highlights to show us. This hell were they considered the bad stuff?
This was 3 minutes worth of material. 3 minutes. Yeah, oh god. There's some battles I just think I hate to be. I would feel ripped off, and I got this ticket for free. So,
yes.
Oh. I mean, I had to pay. I mean, you still got to pay for the hotel and stuff. So shit.
And the journey there.
Let's just hope you live in London and you pay for a bus pass. But yeah. Anyway, we'll go to a slightly more interesting battle: Stegosaurus versus Orac's Revenge. Now,
this was cheeky.
This was very cheeky. I mean, they just pushed him around all the time, like. I mean, Orac's Revenge tried to use the axe, and it just didn't work. And then Stegosaurus just slammed it into the wall multiple times. And then, of course, eventually one push was going to line up with the pit.
And it did. I'm going to say this, right? I thought it was really cute, though, how... I mean, the two things. One, that was one hell of a pitting. I mean, that pitting... That is one of the most swag pittings that's ever been done. He literally they just gracefully, delicately pushed them and just start pulling back as they still slide back... As Orac still slide backwards towards the pit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just beautiful in itself. And two... I just thought it was adorable how Orac's axe was just pecking them on the top as they were being pushed towards the pit. And we can still get this, but oh, bugger.
And the funniest bit was the axe was still firing even when in the pit, like they were trying to get out like Mortis or something. Yes. And they just couldn't do it. And actually, it's just so unfortunate because it makes Orac's Revenge look shit, which is a shame. Because the robot isn't terrible. Again, it's sort of the Crocodilotron syndrome, where you're against a good robot in your first battle and instantly you're declared the fodder as opposed to being a good robot in your own right. And yeah, this was a good example. I mean, there was no mercy Stegosaurus gave them. And again, they came out of nowhere. They were sort of a unknown reserve. Boom! First round taking out a veteran. Like that. No ifs, no buts. An improved veteran as well. Not Napalm, an improved veteran, and they still managed to take him out. So... yeah, in another universe, another dimension, Orac's Revenge won because Stegosaurus broke down, or they beat T-Rex, we don't know. But until then, yeah, Orac's Revenge, this is the last time I think we'll ever talk about you. So
yes, which is a very big shame. And if you are out there, Orac's Revenge team, just remember, we love you and we want you to come back if you are out there.
They still own both versions of Orac, by the way.
That's awesome.
Actually, because I remember
because they let it go. I mean, a lot of teams have sold their robots now, haven't they?
There are some robots. Obviously, Rex Garrett keeps all his creations. I don't know about Recyclops though. That's the only one I've never seen. So I imagine you might have butchered that for Cassius, maybe.
Maybe.
I know that both Inquisitors are still around.
Oh, sweet.
I've seen pictures of them like as recently as like a couple of years ago, and also the Orac team actually did want to appear in 2016/17, but they just didn't have enough time for it because they mentioned that in their post they still have both versions of Orac. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
like because
I just
obviously
wanna
the
say-
version they have is the upgraded version for Series 5 still, but
Because it's just a shame when you see things. I mean, like the prize fighter robot, for example, that was actually sold on eBay, right? And its starting bid was 99p.
I would have bought that.
A robot on Robot Wars, originally sold, a heat finalist and a pretty decent robot in its own right, and it's sold for 99p. I'm gutted. And the super heavyweight Siren.
Yeah. That was a sad one, wasn't it? It was just rusting in its shed.
It was just left behind. The owners literally moved out the house and left it behind. And when the new owners turned up, it was there. They didn't want it, so they sold it. And it's like, how could you just leave it there?
Do you know the sad thing is about the prize fighter thing?
Go on.
99p, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wanted that. Why didn't I know at the time? I could have bought a robot for less than £1. That'd been freaking built. That's like 101's wet dream.
I think eventually it did sell for more, but I don't think it broke 100 quid. I may be wrong though.
I still in my price range. But
yes. Although you're wrong. 101 was not £1 and a penny. It was £5.
I know it wasn't actually £1. £1.
We will get to that in Heat J though, because I have a rant about it.
We'll get to that, and
we love Anderson's rants, don't we?
Oh, we love Anderson's rants. And the last battle, I got out slightly out of order. Who cares? The last battle here, Henry versus Haardvark. Henry versus Haardvark.
Thinking about it, really.
It's depressing. It's really depressing. I mean, Haardvark was.
The fact that Haardvark had a 99.9% chance of winning this damn thing.
I know. Henry basically spent most of the match bumbling around, doing nothing, and getting stuck into the arena wall, and getting stuck into the floor. And then eventually, Haardvark got a good soaring on Henry. Some weird flap fell off it. I don't know what that was. There's just something falling off Henry, but
probably the flap to get to the safety link.
It's probably actually looking at Henry now recently. It doesn't look like it's made out of Lego or some kind of like plastic. It doesn't look like it's made out of metal, but anyway, yeah, the angle grinder disc, which is in the collective, along with the pneumatic spike and the saw blade, as the three worst weapons in Robot Wars, and they're doing those three. Honestly, I mean the static spike is more useful, but.
Yes, it actually was. That's a scary thing.
It is. Pneumatic spikes never, even 101. My god, it was a great robot, but my god, their weapon did fuck all.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, Haardvark tried to do some damage. It would have got some points at least, got some aggression. Haardvark had way more control than Henry. Hell, if style was a thing back then, and, yeah, even Henry had no style either. It all looked good for Haardvark, and then randomly it just stopped.
For 6 seconds.
For 6 seconds, apparently that was enough for the judges to consider it out. Yet, obviously, Storm 2 was not considered out in Series 8 because the 10-second rule was around then. But
and obviously, Series 4 onwards, 30-second rule applied. But I just want to point out that in Evil Weevil's heat, Flip Flop Fly was dead after being axed by Wild Willie, and then Wild Willie drove into the pit. And that was like a good 20 seconds afterwards or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, me and Sam will get to that one. But,
Yes.
I'm not looking forward to that one either. But, yeah, somehow Haardvark lost that. And
Just because you love Evil Weevil.
and then we never saw Haardvark again either. So
that guts me. Again, a Haardvark team, if you're out there, please come back. Or at least try.
I love you, but, yeah, unfortunately it just didn't make it through. So that was the last battle. We'll go into the side event before we go into anything. And hands down, my favourite pinball contestant, Sixpack.
Oh,
I love Six. Seriously, this is one of those robots. You see it and you just think, how did this robot not make it into Series 3 or any others? Because never competed again, never tried again. So
yes.
they could have. It has a Panzer Mark II look to it, very Panzer Mark II, and also slightly, if you took a set of wheels off it, worm.
Yes.
Oddly enough, I always think it's got a slight worm vibe to it, and I think because
unfortunately reception difficulties hindered them from making it to the main competition.
But it's a shame they never came back again.
Yeah, they also hindered them in their pinball run, actually, if you ask me, because there were quite a few times where they could have gotten something and the reception stopped them, and then they couldn't get the points. They could have gotten more points than they got
There was one
had
point.
they not had the reception issues.
There was a point where they were going to hit one of the tires, and then they just stopped. And then
Yes.
and then when the house robot took it, ruined their chances of hitting it. So it was like, oh, they could run then. But in fairness, though, they got 135 points, which puts them above Dominator 2.
No, it doesn't.
Does it not?
Dominator had 160.
Ah, okay. I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking of Series 4 and point system.
Yes.
Because this,
Yeah, this pinball was they came third overall.
yeah, I was right. Sorry, yeah, I'm thinking of Series 4. I've been watching Series 4 recently. I've been thinking of that where Spawner Scudder did really well and blasted everyone off the table, pretty much. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, to its credit though, this is still probably the only run so far that could have actually done well against Dominator 2. Again, if they hadn't had some interference, they could have beaten Dominator 2 with that one target pretty easily. But interference, whatever, I don't know what it was, but they just weren't as reliable as they could have been. And again, they never actually tried again for the series.
Yeah.
Which it's a shame, because this robot would have beaten a lot of robots in Series 4, let's say that. I mean, put it in Evil Weevil's heat, watch the sparks fly. Amazing. Actually,
Well, that heat was Evil Evils. Let's be fair. They hadn't have fucking put the wrong battery in there. Well, they would have won that easily.
Oh, hands down. I mean, that was pathetic. A pathetic display from that team. But I mean, it's such a simple error as well. It's not even like a case of the link fell out in the battle. No, you didn't charge your battery, or didn't choose the battery that was fully charged, and went.
Yeah. They put the wrong one in.
Jesus. I mean, obviously, it's hard to be a roboteer. I understand that, but sometimes it's the small errors. This is the reason why a lot of people get pulled over. Apparently, they were carrying drugs. Oh, the reason why is because they weren't wearing their seat belt. It's the simple things in life you gotta get right. Then you'll get all the hard stuff out of the way, like apparently drug trafficking and controlling Evil Weevil. Apparently, they're the same thing now. Official. That's where my analogy went for some reason. But we'll get to the battles, and we'll start the one I liked more, simply because it was more satisfying. Was Henry versus Stegosaurus.
Oh God, the moment that you see Sergeant Bash's claw just do that gentle little slice through the side makes me happy. And then of course seeing Dead Metal literally nom 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 on the back was just made that a little bit better.
Well, one of the few Dead Metal moments that didn't involve his flamethrower, which actually, because he did that with Spike as well, and also did it here with Henry, and it's just that crushing through the armor so satisfying, and Dead Metal cutting through it so easily.
You just said Dead Metal instead of Sergeant Bash.
Why do I keep doing that? It's like the fourth time I've said Dead Metal instead of Sergeant Bash. I have no idea. Maybe because it's just not existent in the new series, and I just want to I keep saying Dead Metal's the only replacement somehow. I have no idea, but yeah, both Dead Metal and Sergeant Bash both did a very good job on Henry between them, and Henry got stuck in the wall this time, and actually I think that somehow that killed them because they weren't moving after that. After they got pulled away from the wall, so something happened. I don't know what happened to Henry. I don't actually care, to be honest with you. All I know is that Stegosaurus all I knew is that Stegosaurus had a very easy run. Let's face it, and unlike Haardvark, they decided to work all the way through and actually destroy their opponent. So there is that, and there's nothing else to really say about it apart from the fact that Henry lost, which is great. So again, they come back next series, but you tried. Henry 2. You tried at least for the 2 seconds you were working. Yes. Yay. And the other battle, which I like to call an absolute farce, is RoboPick versus Napalm. My God. Right, RoboPick, you had this battle. Granted, it was a shit battle, but you had the battle, and then what do? You drive up the wedge. And the funny thing is, though, it looks like Napalm sort of drives him on, but actually, in fairness, RoboPick could have backed up at any moment on that bit. But no, they decided to go forwards constantly, and then
right up on the ramp, and then their little spring tail just couldn't save them.
I mean, it's the fact they went backwards as well. Do you think you would keep going forwards, wouldn't you, in that situation? I mean, they went backwards for some reason, and ended up falling. And unfortunately, I'm not meaning to make a pun. Piggyback.
Oh.
I wasn't. It was the only expression I could think of. There's no other expression I could think of, and unfortunately, it has to be this one robot I have to say that for. But yeah, they went piggyback onto their back, and then apparently RoboPig set Sir Killock on fire. It was their fault. Apparently,
yeah, apparently, yeah.
they caused it. It wasn't the fact that Sakil drove onto got too far to the flame pit was the whole reason they got sent out. No, because RoboPick caused it.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! I mean,
Bloody Nora.
Napalm being lucky always. Jesus.
I'm pretty certain the Heat final you're pretty fond of though.
Oh, I love the Heat final though. I mean, it's one of my favourite Heat finals in the series anyway. But still, not because Napalm was any good. I mean, Stegosaurus versus Napalm was an end-ending Heat final, not because Napalm was aggressive or proved its worth. Granted, it was reliable. It still worked barely. It was barely moving by the end of this battle, but it was still moving. No, it's because Stegosaurus just completely annihilated Napalm. It was complete ownage.
I mean, this was full on annihilation. I mean, this is what the kids these days consider roasting.
It
And
really
by
was.
roasting, I mean extra crispy, like Kenko Roast 5. This was ridiculous.
was that your Kenko joke quota for this year?
Yes, it was. We're not at all sponsored by Kenko.
I don't drink coffee anyway, so I don't. It's not
What?
Oh, we're not getting to this now. Right at the very end of the
I'm a tea
episode.
man. I suppose I'm mostly a tea man anyway. But anyway,
I mean, Napalm. I mean, I mentioned it before. At one point, it was almost like a concertina. Napalm just kind of crunched in on itself, and the most famous shot from this battle is when they get pushed into shunts, CPZ, and it just crumples and goes
Yes.
flying, and then pieces of Napalm are falling off on the side bits is like hanging off, and the logo falls off.
It's quite ironic actually. You mentioned RoboPick piggybacking earlier because they piggybacked on top of Stegosaurus in this battle.
Yeah, I mean the only time Napalm actually there was only one point where Napalm managed to slightly pin They actually got underneath Stegosaurus. I'll give them credit there.
Yes.
They did actually get underneath it, but unfortunately they didn't have any power to back it up, and they were already too close to the wall. And by then, I think one of the house robots separated them, and then I think it was Shunt that separated them because he pretty much done most of the work, and he got pushed into a lot as well.
Dominant performance though by Stegosaurus.
I'd probably argue it's probably the most dominant Heat finalist in its Heat final.
Yeah. Let me think. Apart from perhaps Chaos 2 versus, even Chaos 2 versus Big Cheese, Chaos 2 was in a little bit of trouble. I'd say probably, hang on, Mace 2 was pretty dominant. Behemoth and Pitbull had a great one.
Blade and Agrabot were pretty much just bumping into each other.
Pretty much bumping into one another.
Gravedigger was pretty dominant in its battle.
Gravedigger was pretty dominant in its battle, yeah, fair play. Big Brother and Altor was very close, to be fair.
You mean Altor? Did you say Altor?
I meant Altor. Leave me alone.
I was a hypnotist.
Shut up, Mr. Dead Metal into the Sergeant Bash.
I mean, we could probably list all the Heat finals all day, but as far as I'm aware, this is probably one of the most dominant, along with Mace 2 and Gravedigger. But I'd say probably it's the most memorably dominant. Because while Mace was dominant, it was a pretty boring Heat final with Mace too, granted. But here, my God, Stegosaurus knew they were here and they wanted to just completely annihilate who they're in front of. And Napalm, unfortunately,
one I would say was probably more dominant was just Firestorm versus Dinosaur, just because of how quickly it was over.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick battle, right? Imagine, what was the outcome going to be? Let's face it. But here, this is just amazing. It showed why Stegosaurus is a grand finalist.
Oh, easily, definitely.
A great grand. I mean, obviously they came fourth only because Hypnodisc managed to beat him up so much they couldn't even fight Firestorm. So, but or maybe they just didn't want to face any more damage or destroy it too much. So, yeah, I mean, probably one of the most domineering semi-finalists so far, along with Chaos 2, and that was Heat G. What would you give a rating to this episode, would you say, Anson?
It's going to sound random and weird because I've had a lot of complaints about this Heat, but that doesn't reflect my thoughts on this Heat. I love this Heat. Stegosaurus' debut, fantastic. Brilliant, dominant performance by them. Some interesting looking robots, and Napalm and Henry. Some good battles, and Napalm and Caterkiller. I have no qualms with it, really. I mean, like I said, there's qualms, but they're mild qualms at best.
Henry.
Henry. And it was still fun, and to be honest, whilst I don't like Henry, there's something about it that makes me smile knowing that a family still got together and made it. So it's one of them, it's sort of like a bittersweet thing with Henry, although it's still crap. So I'm happy to give this a 7 out of 10, believe it or not.
I mean, honestly, this whole Heat was worth it for the Heat final. Let's face it. Honestly, all the other battles, apart from the Stegosaurus battles, a lot of these battles weren't that interesting, but they made up for it for the heat final at least. They made it worth waiting for. I mean, yeah, it was just a great heat. Honestly, I mean, it's not my favorite heat. If I had to push for out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 6 maybe. It's just not. I mean, the bad heat, the bad battles, unfortunately, really lower it for me. But the good battles really stand out at least. But
Yeah.
now we were talking. Well, obviously, you won't be joining me for Heat H, unfortunately, which is the coveted heat of the series, apart from maybe Heat E.
Yeah. Yes, apparently some robot called Hypnodisc debuts, and apparently there's some ridiculously historic moment. I don't really remember it that much myself, to be honest. It's a good thing I'm on it, really. Isn't it?
I mean, Sam's joining me for that, but Hypnodisc. Right, we're talking about dominance. Obviously, until it's heat final, but still, I mean, even if it lost in its heat final, this robot made its mark massively. I mean, just look a picture of Stealth alone, and you'll see why this robot was considered great. Because, I mean, yeah, it didn't do well in its heat final as much as it could have, but it's still one of those robots. It's up there. It's like Chaos 2. It's like Panic Attack. It's like Firestorm. It's like Razor. It's one of those robots you just can't forget, and you'll never forget. Like, even people are going, to this day, are still going Carbide versus a Hypnodisc, and honestly, I prefer Carbide now. But Hypnodisc is still one of my favourite robots for a reason, because it just managed to be the first robot that utterly destroyed a robot so it couldn't work again. And considering that the worst damage, I think, was always done by the house robots, and not really done by competitors, it's amazing to see a robot finally... I mean, Razor poked holes and stuff, but that's Razor,
Yeah.
Hypnodisc ripped armor off, ripped out wheels, ripped out internals, ripped out batteries. Even in Series 4 and 5, even by Series 6, it was still ripping things like, it was still doing good jobs against certain robots. So it's still even in my favourite battle probably there is probably the Extreme battle against We the Big Cheese and Ming 3.
Yes.
That is probably my favourite battle, simply because they took two robots that were decently strong and just completely made them look like they were worthless.
Yes.
It was amazing. Nothing beats Robogeddon and Stealth battles, granted, but for classicness. But that's still my favourite one. Is there anything about Hypnodisc that we can't say that hasn't already been said?
No.
No.
Basically, no. I mean, it was great. The team were awesome. Again, for a first attempt, fantastic. Would it have killed him to give it a lick of paint? Apart from that, it's awesome.
Also, two bonus facts. Number one, this robot in Series 3, granted this is the robot that destroyed Robogeddon and Stealth, it went 600 RPM.
Yes.
600! Considering that things like...
nothing
Carbide,
compared to nowadays.
Isn't Carbide 2,500 RPM?
2,300.
Yeah, so roughly 2,500. And considering that, Pulsar's getting close to 9,000 RPM, and Pulsar did nothing, but still... Hypnodisc, in the grand scheme of things, did more than Pulsar, and that thing, I think that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Pulsar. When I see Hypnodisc in comparison at 600 RPM can destroy shit, and Pulsar merely just bounces things out of the way as opposed to really doing any damage to it. Again, it's all about the size and the weight and the speed, granted, but still, taking into account, Hypnodisc was still... it's only up there with, obviously, it's like Stegosaurus and Chaos 2. It's a pioneer in its own way. Chaos 2 powered the CO2 flipper, Stegosaurus was the Rambot, and this was the disc, the spinner, or later on obviously bar spinners as well. This thing was the spinner revolution. Obviously, other robots like Disco Inferno tried to do it and didn't really do much damage. It took till S3, I think, to be the next just as powerful as Hypnodisc type spinner, but it took a while. It took a while to be like Hypnodisc, let's face it. And another robot actually that I think personally would have been a perfectly fine semi-finalist is Berserk 2.
Definitely.
I'm very unlucky. I mean, honestly, if they hadn't got flipped over by the damn arena spike, they would have been... I think they probably would have been the set winner of this heat. They were doing well. They were the only robot that suffered no damage from Hypnodisc whatsoever.
Can I just say another quick fun fact about Hypnodisc, by the way?
Oh, go on.
You know that infamous Robogeddon match?
Yeah.
Well, it very, very, very nearly went the other way.
Oh, did it not?
Yes, basically, within the first 5 seconds of the battle, Hypnodisc got stuck in reverse drive and ended up in the CPZ. and or by the flamethrowers, I think it was, and then out of nowhere, it all of a sudden just stopped being stuck in forward drive, and then they continued, but they decided to edit that bit out.
Fair enough,
But
but
basically, what you see there is an edited down battle. Hitler's very nearly lost its first battle, ladies and gentlemen.
true.
There
That
you
is
go.
true. But I mean, in fairness, that version of Hypnodisc did have a lot of reliability issues in general. But
Look at the grand final.
yeah,
Anyway,
Berserk 2. So what? Hell, it's a massive improvement over the original Berserk. It was just this weird little box thing with a thing. Granted, I still don't understand why the forklift is at the rear. It's one of those design choices I think they could have improved on in Series 4, and they didn't. They made it basically the same robot in Series 4, and it's even slower in Series 4, it feels like. I mean, the Series 4, I mean, I love Berserk 2 in Series 3, but by Series 4, my god, the improvements are just overnight for the series. Made this robot completely outdated, and then made Twister.
oh bloody hell!
I mean, we're making fun of 3 Stegs to heaven, but Twister died in like one hit to Claude Hopper. Claude Hopper, that one robot that got flipped over by a bigger brother in one go, and it just flailed its little arms around. Yes, the first walker to win a mainstream battle. Yes, and it was Claude Hopper. Everyone thinks it's Anarchy. No, it was Claude Hopper that won their first main series battle. And yeah, they could have really improved Berserk 2, make a Berserk 3. I don't know why they called it Berserk 2 in Series 4 when it was Berserk 3 technically, but it's like Storm 2 and Chaos 2. They just keep the names sometimes, but I mean, again, I just don't understand why they didn't put the forklift at the front, but even then, it was definitely powerful in the series. It almost lifted itself over half the time, but it worked.
Yeah.
Works incredibly well. Also, we have the Barnyard series animal, but I think it's the only one, I think. Maybe pushing it with another one. Alligator. It's just Alligator. It's probably the most boring robot.
Alligator.
This is the most
Yes,
boring robot of this heat, to be honest. I mean, it's just kind of...
It's just there.
Honestly, that's all I can say about Alligator. Honestly, it's just kind of there. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything interesting to talk about Alligator. It's just a wedge with looks vaguely like an alligator. That's it.
Yes.
One of the worst robots of Series 3, in my opinion, Stealth.
Oh, bloody hell.
I don't like Stealth at all. I mean, seriously, I don't even care that it was inferior to Hypnodisc. It got lucky in its first round battle. This robot is slow, the disc does nothing, the lifter doesn't work. And, I mean, did you see that thing lift anything this entire series? No.
I didn't even see the flipper lift, apart from when it was against Hypnodisc and it left it too late and it got ripped open.
Yeah, I mean, I like the kind of... I can see where they were coming from. It's like a stealth bomber, but it just doesn't look that great either. It looks like just like a box. I mean, it looks like an air vent, to be honest with you.
It looks like a bunch of shit just randomly stuck together.
That is true, and thank
Bit like Suicide Squad. Hey, sorry.
That's true. And this robot is so light. It's 65 kilograms.
Bloody hell.
I mean, even by Series 3 standards, the average is about 75 kilograms, so this is pushing it. I mean, actually, it's really light. My God. Actually, but speaking of the robot it beat, was hands down...
It's also very light, was I'm right in thinking.
It's the lightest robot in the heat at 60.2 kilograms. Somehow, it's the biggest robot in the heat.
Yes.
Death warmed up. Right, I mean, obviously, you can feel free to disagree. Anyone disagrees. I'm not saying it. Obviously, it's all a subjective thing. This is my favourite design robot of Series 3. I love this thing. And it's made by this...
You see, this is my least favourite Team Death robot.
Really? It's my favourite.
It's my least favourite by far.
How come?
Well, the first one, Pièce de Resistance, I can give them a shred of fairness in the fact that it actually that it was their first attempt, and it was funny seeing how bad it performed. Immortalis looked decent at least, and Metalis had a pretty decent idea behind it. This thing, I don't even know what they were attempting to do. It was lopsided. Its armor looked thinner than paper. The thing on the top of the thing didn't look like anything to do with death or hell or anything. The weaponry was pointless and stupid. It was literally, and literally, right, it got pushed over the flame pit and died. There's only one other robot that's ever done that, and that was the Spider in Extreme 1, and that was a robot which had no friggin' armor on it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I agree with you, but I'm just gonna say I don't care. I love this robot because
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm a bit of a graphics whore, so to speak. I don't care. Sometimes a really, really weird-looking robot can completely make me love it, even if it's complete shite. And this is one of them. Like, granted, the robot is useless. It has flames on the side of it, so the hell part is sort of there, and it's also got a trident at the back, like a devil's pitchfork. But
Yeah.
which has an earthquake saw, which even Jonathan Pierce goes, "What the fuck is that?" Like, seriously, what is an earth? It's so high up on the robot. And also, what was all the wheels on the side? I don't
I have
understand
no
those
idea.
wheels. It's like a clusterfuck of robot stuff, but honestly, I love it for the pure insanity of it. Honestly, it's up there with the little figure on Purple Predator. Like, what the fuck was that thing? Like Yoda mixed with a Action Man. I don't know, but I just love how stupid it is. And again, it's a crap robot. I'm not going to say it's a good robot. None of Team Death robots were actually brilliant. The most competent one was Metalis, probably. That was the only one that actually worked fully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care. I love this thing. I love how stupid it looks, and it's just dumb. It's my kind of dumb, to be honest with you. Speaking of a very dumb robot from a very dumb team, Tut's Revenge. They made Megahertz, of course, the moving to the PC computer with a little disk slot that kept coming out of it randomly, and now they made a pyramid. How would you go from a computer
Two of the worst lifting devices ever.
And also, this is the reason why they went back to Megahertz in Series 6 and 7. Because Tut's Revenge, seriously, it's one of the worst. It's a terrible... Like, the pyramid is one of the worst designed shape for a robot. Because if it gets flipped over, you have to have self-writers on every side. And they actually had a self-writer, and it didn't work. Because it flipped onto the side that didn't have a self-writer on it.
Yeah. The only robot that actually had a decent pyramid shape was Tut, and that was a friggin' stock robot for the US series.
That's true. I was thinking of it's very obviously the comparisons are obviously made, obviously because it's basically the same type of robot, but also one of the little lifting things fell off it when it got pushed by dead metal. So yeah, it's pretty flimsy
that
looking.
Spindly spike thing which lifts like an inch off the floor,
and its axe got caught in the arena wall.
It's not really an axe, is it? I mean, it was a flipper as well.
Actually, in fairness, it's got a spike on it.
I think it like doubled as two because they in their actual pit thing they actually say that it was a lifter.
Well, I don't know. Man, their whole robot's crap anyway. But
yes,
like even for a pyramid design, it's pretty bland looking. Just a pyramid, like a few little Egyptian signs on it and some eyes. But yeah, somehow this thing is like 4 wheels. Is it four? Like it's like loads of wheels on it for some reason. Like it needs so many wheels. It's like Tantrum in Series 2, just throw wheels on it, because why not?
Trident.
Yeah, Trident. I mean, it didn't even... At least with Tantrum, it was like invertible. Trident was pointless.
Yes.
Now, if you would like to downgrade your robots, we've talked about 3 Stegs to Heaven. We've talked about Twister. Series 3 Corporal Punishment.
Oh, bloody
I
hell.
love Adam Clark. I love all the robots he makes, even if they're not very successful. They are at least... Each one is sort of different in its own way. I mean, talk about how I do agree that 259 is overrated, but it's still it's different to a lot of his other robots in design. You make an upgraded the only time he's ever upgraded a robot and entered it is Corporal Punishment, and wow, the scoop doesn't even touch the floor.
No, it doesn't.
And it's made out of sheet metal, which bended really easily. What was the original scoop? Granted, it got caught on the floor a lot, but it was always on the ground. Actually, it was too low. The scoop.
Yeah, it was too low. Yeah.
But I'd rather have it too low than too high, because it makes it's useless as a scoop then. And
as proved in its battle with Alligator.
Oh, barely a battle.
Which somehow went to a split decision, by the way.
Right, I want to know. I seriously want to know which judge voted for Corporal Punishment's favour, because I really want to. I mean, I know it's rude to ask, but I don't care. It's just a stupid. Like, what battle were they watching? Seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like a football fan here. Like, what match were you watching, ref?
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's downgrade. So I mean, it's probably it's got the same. It's got weird. Everything else looks okay about it, apart from the front. Like its speed was fine. Its armor was okay, I guess, but yeah, the front no, just no. And finally, the sort of do we count this as an Barnyard animals thing?
It looks kind of like a little crocodile lizardy thing, doesn't it?
I'll count it. I mean, we've got Alligator, so I can at least make some liberties here.
Yeah.
We've got Robogeddon, Hypnodisc's first victim.
Yes.
Oh man, I kind of like this robot for how silly it kind of looks in a way. Like, you knew this team weren't taking it seriously. Oh, they took it so well.
I mean, they took it so well. Mate. I mean, just seeing this 13-year-old kid laugh his head off.
Yeah.
His robot getting mullered and then cheering for it, and it's just, oh, what a lad.
I felt kind of bad they didn't make it into Series 4, because I'd like to see a rematch, potentially. But one thing I don't like about it, one thing I I have three things to give credit for this robot. Number one, the team, obviously. Number two, I don't know why, but I like the little googly eyes on it. I'm a fan of weird eyes. I feel like missiles eyes. I don't know why I'm giving credit for that. I just find it funny. It looks funny to me because it could be quite a bland robot if it wasn't for that. But finally, right, the one thing I give it credit for: Stealth died. Robogeddon was still working. This robot worked after its battle. Its wheels were fucked. Its weapon was fucked.
Still spinning.
It still looked like Robogeddon. It just hadn't got armor on it. Like the weapon was still working until the gas canister broke on it. It was still working right until the end. It had a few flips left. The wheels were still spinning. Granted, they were completely broken as well. Like, there was nothing really workably salvaged from this robot. But if they in the new series, they could actually build it back up again, like for a round robin, if they had to. Stealth, no.
Stealth had no chance, but Robogeddon actually had a chance.
And seriously, if you had some spare armor lying around, you could make this ball roll back up again. But I mean, granted, the flipper didn't touch the ground, but still, I'll give him credit. This robot actually did survive Hypnodiscs. You know, there are robots like Splinter, Bulldog Breed didn't even survive Hypnodisc twice. But granted, they still looked okay, but they didn't survive them as well. They still didn't work. You know. Robogeddon's one that I think it's the only robot that got destroyed by Hypnodisc really badly that still worked, apart from maybe Bigger Brother. I think that's it, really. Those two robots are the only thing I can think of that really survived Hypnodisc really well after getting destroyed. But I'll give him credit for that, but it's still not a good robot. But
No,
it's something at least. I don't really hate it as much, I think, because I just sort of feel sorry for it. I hate hating on it enough. It's like, oh, come on. Like, Stealth, I don't care, but Robogeddon, I'm just like, oh. But, yeah, so that was Heat H. I'm sorry you can't be there for it, but...
well, I don't mind, because I'm going to be there for Heats I and J, two heats that are very special to me. So
that's true. And also the semi-final too, as well.
Yes.
And grand final, so you get to be for a grand final, at least.
Yes.
And...
Am I in Heat O as well?
Yes, you are.
Yes, jolly good.
Yeah, you got Firestorm at least. But anyway, if that's everything, then I think I'm.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, it is. So I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
And I am Anderson again. Gonna go and I don't know, shoot someone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.